Welcome back to another video. I started this channel almost a year ago, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less than a year ago. I hit 12,000 subscribers today, and I want to thank every single one of y'all who has subscribed to this. I've come a long way, and I still look very amateurish. I've been fighting with this green screen for an hour before I started this. For those who are coming here for Wingbits, Wingbits is a project I'm really behind right now, and I've did a couple of how to set up videos and different things like that, how-to videos, as you would say, and things have changed a lot. And the other day when somebody wanted to know, hey, how do I set one up from scratch? If I want to take a sense cap like this from Helium, or just something with a pi in it, because this has a pi in it, how do I set that up with Wingbits? And when I went to reference my previous video I made, I realized there's a lot of things that have changed with this project for the good. There's no more purchasing hexes. So basically, there's no cost to start in Wingbits. How many passive income projects can you start with that? So before I get too much on my normal rambling on, again, we're going to do this how-to video, show how we're going to do it as of today, and we'll get started. First things first, if y'all can, just please like this video. If y'all like these how-to videos and y'all want to see more of them, helping y'all walk through these different things, especially when I put chapters in them, please hit that thumbs up. Nothing builds a channel more than helping that YouTube algorithm by you just taking a half a second. Please hit that thumbs up button. Don't grade me on my amateurish production values and stuff like that. If you like the content, you like me making a fool out of myself, this was a big step for me to make a YouTube channel a year ago, and y'all support anything I'm doing. Please hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And also, if you can help me out, two more things. Please go and subscribe to my X page. I'm trying to build more of that too. That gets me recognized by other projects also. I've learned recently that they do look at that. So I'm trying to build it up because I can bring that information to y'all and show y'all what those projects offer in passive income. Also, I am really trying to work on my other YouTube channel, which is the Grumpy Dad Outdoors, doing some videos with my son, fishing, four-wheeling, ATV, hunting, different things like that. It is really lacking. If y'all can take the time, maybe even after this videos, I have a link in the description below. Just go over there, help me out, hit that subscribe button. You know, check out some videos if y'all are into any of that stuff, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank y'all. So for those of you who are completely new to Wingbits, Wingbits is a project. You can go to Discord. I tell all my viewers, you have to be in Discords with these testnet projects. So get in the Discord, read the announcements, find out what's going on with it. I'm going to set up a brand new station from scratch, as if this is a regular Pi or this is a Helium device. And I'm going to talk kind of to the beginners, because that's probably who's gonna be watching this. This is a good project because there's no cost to get in. There's no, $200 license or staking, $600 equipment cost or anything like that. You're bringing your own device. Yes, you might have to go buy a Pi. SDR, USB SDR, USB reader. There's many different kinds. There's the green one that we recommend also. I don't have any here with me because they're all deployed, but the one from FlightAware is also very good. There's also a blue metal one that is online on Amazon also. I have links to all that in my description. I have links to everything that you will possibly need to get started on a Wingbits station. Yes, all full disclaimer, because some people get their feelings hurt. If you click on a link, it helps my channel out. Instead of me doing overtime at work, or instead of me running my side business that I have, link in the description, I'm doing these videos for y'all. Y'all clicking on the link sends 27 cents to a needy family. So if y'all can help me out by clicking on those links and purchasing your items from there, but for under $100, I would say, close to $100, you can get started on this project. This project is now about to go to testnet. It eventually will go to, of course, mainnet. They do, from what they've told us, have purchasing partners or customers, which that was one of the claims. People didn't know if they would be able to do that or not, since you can get ADSB information for free from some other sources. They have sold this now to customers, and there should be more announcements coming along that. I don't want to get too off the rails on this, but we're going to do a complete setup. So what's the first thing you need to do? Well, of course, the first thing you need to do is you need to go to wingbits.com. All right, here we are, wingbits.com. You know, I can't wait till I get my new computer built. I have a computer that's being built, for those who might be new to my channel, converting my home space, home office, spare room, whatever you want to call it, to an actual YouTube studio. I plan on putting TVs on it, you know, having streaming and stuff like that. But my first thing is I want to build a kind of a super computer. I want to build a computer that's going to last me for a while, that I can do streaming, content creation, stuff like that. I've been buying parts every payday, and I'm not even close to finishing it. I'm thinking about maybe putting my poor little hand out saying, hey, this can be like NASCAR. You want to help sponsor and send some Solana tokens or something to my wallet, and I'll post y'all's business name or something. I'm contemplating all that stuff. My biggest thing is this whole green screen thing that I still, no matter how much I try to set up, I can't figure it out. But so y'all have to bear with me. I hope it's not too distracting. So, of course, the first thing you need to do is go to wingbits.com. You're going to sign up for a free account. So you're going to go to login. You know, I also want to say that I will be putting chapters in this. So if you know how to do all this and you just need, you know, help with just the setups, there will be chapters in this also. So for the first time people, of course, you're going to don't have an account. And it's going to say there's an email required, there's a password required. So you should sign up with that, follow the instructions, and then it's going to give you a login. So it's going to bring you to this dashboard, kind of basic for right now. You can go to the map. You know, you want to be able to see what's in your area or anything like that. You can also do this before you even sign up for an account. You can do this from the home page if you wish. You can also go up here, turn the blinders off, and you can not be blind by looking at the daytime mode and looking at nighttime mode. Looks way better. You can click right here on this antenna, and this will show you kind of where stations are. So you can see where the stations are in my area, Houston's area, different things like that. In case you don't know how to use it, your dashboard is going to show you when you start having data come in. It'll show you what your wings and what you're making. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to antennas. Now, there's different ways of finding GPS without making this video way too long like I've had in some previous videos. I'm assuming that you're going to know how to find GPS. You can go to, there's different websites. You have to be accurate out to 5 decimals. And if there's a negative, you have to put a negative. This has to be accurate. So I'm going to register a fake station right now. I'm going to get my GPS and I'm going to put it in. All right, so I got my GPS. I used Google Earth, took the mouse, hovered right over the spot that I want, and I got my GPS. So now I'm going to register antenna. And I'm going to make a name for this. I'm putting test. Okay. Now you can put your address in or you can put your latitude in. So there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can go real deep into it if you can get down to the street level. And I'm going to put this out in the middle of the Gulf because I don't want to accidentally take up somebody's hex that, you know, these hexes, you can only have 1 station per hex, meaning that if anybody right here has a station, they can't put one up. They have to find another hex to install this. So to be safe, I'm coming out here and I'm going to put one in this hex right here. Now I can click on it and it's going to put one there. Or I can also type it out, which I found mine on using Google Earth, 28.34388. And what I was saying earlier is on the longitude, if you have a negative, you have to put this negative. So I have 90.32672. Boom. I'm going to hit register. After I hit register, I now have tall, glossy vulture. It also shows me the code down here. So we're going to hold on to that. You have this for 6 hours. If you want to extend this reservation longer than 6 hours, you can pay for it to go longer. So we're going to hold off on this right here. And now we're going to convert our Helium sense cap. This will also work like on MNTD Golds and some of the rack miners. Basically anything with a Pi in it. So let's go and start working on that. All right, next you have to have Raspberry Pi Imager. There's a link in my description for Raspberry Pi Imager if you need it. You also have to have an SD card. At the very minimum, 32 gigabytes. Most people recommend 64. However, this is just running the OS along with Wingbits. We're not running a lot of other stuff. We're not storing any data or anything like that on it. So just your basic little SD card will work, should work. So, okay, another thing is make sure that you right-click Raspberry Pi Imager and open up as administrator. That's just my personal preference. Nobody has to argue with me that it works, don't work, whatever like that. I find it's a lot less buggy if you use Raspberry Pi Imager, right-click, open as administrator. So I'm going straight to choose OS. My SD card's in here, and I'm going to Raspberry Pi OS Other, and I want to find the 64-bit version with no desktop environment, which is going to be this first one. And I'm hitting choose storage. I have my SD card in my little SD card reader writer on my computer, and I'm clicking next. Yes, I want to edit the settings. Don't go too fast. Y'all gonna need this. Yes, I want to edit the settings. So, of course, it's not going to show you, but it's going to ask you to name your host name. It's going to ask you to for a username and a password. So for a username, I'm putting Wingbits. For a password, I'm going to put Wingbits with a capital W. I'm putting wing with a capital W, #12345. Because I don't want to make it too stupidly easy. And even though I'm telling everybody, but I don't use that password. I'm making it up strictly for the thing. But I'm writing it down because I will forget it by the time I finish this video. Wing, capital W, #12345. That is going to be my password. There's also a section if you want to configure wireless LAN. I don't have wireless LAN on here. I'm not worried about it. I don't use wireless on any of my devices unless I strictly do not have a choice. Wired runs normally better. Don't argue with me. Don't put nothing stupid in comments. Yes, you can run Wi-Fi. Yes, you might be running Wi-Fi. But many people in the Discord will tell you it's a lot less buggy if you can hardwire. You can run PoE also, which I do with a lot of my devices. That's another video for another time. You can also on here set your time zone if you want America, Chicago, whatever. And that's it. So I have my username and password and everything set up so I can SSH into it. On the next block, there's a services. I want to enable SSH, and I wish y'all could see all this, but for some reason, OBS is not showing it, and I'm hitting save. So, would you like to apply the OS customization settings? Yes. Everything on my card will be deleted. I want to continue. Yes. And it's going to go through here and write it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause the video until this is done, until we get back. All right, I finished writing, and now it's going to verify the card. So it's checking it to make sure there's no errors on it, and we'll be back in a second. All right, I got finalizing, and now it says it's done. I can go ahead and remove my card out. So on the sense cap, I actually took just the sides off. You don't have to actually remove it, but if you want to remove this Pi out of here, they got some screws on the bottom, and that's all you have to do is take the screws off, and this whole thing will come out. People argue back and forth about the power needed. You have to remember you are taking a little more power now because you have to power this through the USB port. Some people, and then with a previous project that I don't discuss anymore, we used to take these helium hats off. But with some other projects that are out there like BitHarvest and stuff, and they have Crankk that's out there also, but you can actually dual mount with these. It's a different video for a different day. We're strictly talking about setting up a Pi. So pretend like this helium hat's not here. So, we're going to take this SD card out of here. It's got a little piece of yellow tape on it. And then we're taking that one out. And we're going to put the new card in that we just wrote with Raspberry Pi writer. All right, guys, one thing I want to say is when you first power this up, make sure you have your SDR plugged into it. You're going to need that when you run this script. Make sure it's plugged in or you will get errors out. So I looked into my router. There's different programs you can use to see what IP this device, but first thing you do is need to find out what local IP that you got on your device. Most of y'all should know about that, but normally it's like a 192.168. Me, I'm different. I like to put everything as 10.10 on my IoT network that I have here. And we're going to SSH into it. I use PuTTY to SSH into this. All right, so I got my IP. I'm pressing open. And for the first time right here, it's going to give you a security alert because this is the first time, which tells me I am in the right device because this is the first time I'm connecting to that device. I'm hitting accept, and I'm putting in my login. I'm glad I wrote it down. And now I'm in. There's a couple of different things you can do from here. You can either keep it like this and run everything as sudo. I'm lazy. I like to run everything as root. So I'm not going to go to detail into how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Pause it and then come back. All right, I configured my SSHD to allow my SSH to allow root and passwords. That's also where you can change the port. I also changed the ports. I don't like port 22 as my SSH port because everybody knows it is. Don't be wrong. Anytime you open up a port, it could be wrong. We will also be adding Tailscale to this at the end for those who want to stick around that long. I don't want to get involved in that just yet. So I changed my SSH to an obscure port, 53 something or something like that. But first thing I want to do is I want to update everything. So I'm gonna do an apt get update sign twice, ampersand sign for those older folks, then an apt get upgrade space -y, and I'm gonna run that and let everything go. This is gonna take a few minutes. Go use the bathroom, grab yourself a taco or something, drink, and come back. Now, somebody did ask, do you have to put the do you have to do this update? You don't have to do this update. What I've learned though is running the new script from Wingbits, it's going to do this behind the scenes. So for 5 minutes or so, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever this would take, you don't get to see all this. So therefore, you don't know what it's doing. You don't know if it's locked up. You don't know what's going on. So as I had to do my 20 devices that I take care of between me and my friends and my family, I did an apt update, apt upgrade, all that stuff like that first so I can see everything moving. And then once it was done, I ran the Wingbits script. And to me, it just was a smoother process because I know it's not just sitting there locked up. While this is running, I still want to say 2 things also. If this is fast, I apologize. I got people who complain that my videos are too long, and I got people who are complaining that I go too fast. So luckily with the chapters, you can go back. I will also have these different commands inside of my description below so that you can follow them like that also. Now, we've finished our processing. So what we're going to do here, after sat there and upgraded all that, we're going to do a reboot. I'm in root, so I don't have to press sudo. If you're still under your original sign-in, you're going to have to press sudo space reboot. Okay, so we have finished our updates. We're rebooted. Now to our next step. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going back to our Wingbits, and where this script is, we're going to come over here and we're going to click the copy symbol that's right here. Left click that copy symbol. Come back to your PuTTY session or your SSH session, whatever you're using. And you're going to right click one time over this mouse or over that icon, whatever you want to call it. So that's going to put that in there. When it's in there, you're going to press enter. Now it's asking me for my default name. So I need to go back to my other screen, and where it says my name right here, there's a copy symbol. left click that copy symbol. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to right click, has our name in there. We're going to hit enter. And it's going to now pull down its files and everything that it needs. And we're going to just let this run. And I'll be back in a second. I want to remind everybody, while this is running, you have to have your SDR, USB SDR, whatever you want to call it. You have to have it plugged in the USB port of this device, or this is going to fail. It's going to, update to be, I don't want nobody to go correct me. It's going to update most of the program, but it is going to fail to start if you don't have this plugged in. Make sure this is plugged in before you start this process. So as you can see, it's going to take a little bit as it's installing things. We're going to let this run, and I'll be back shortly. Tell you what the next step is. All right, we're about 4 minutes into it. And as you can see, we're going through our steps right here. We did readsb. We're doing another install readsb, then another installing readsb. So don't think there's anything wrong with it. Just let it roll and enjoy your taco and your drink or whatever you're eating, snacking on until this is done. Also, this right here, this is what it looks like when you install graphs on the old program. You install graphs separately. So I think that's part of that, just a hunch. But now it's going to install vector. I'm going to let that roll some more. So as my luck would have it, I have an issue. readsb is still inactive. It wouldn't start it. So this is our first install. It says, if nothing shows as active, you reboot. I reboot anyway. When I install these, even if everything checks out fine, I reboot. So I'm going to type reboot and hold my breath and restart. Now, one thing I want to tell y'all is don't reboot and then press reboot and then just try to get right back to it. You got to remember, this is like a computer that's starting back up. So you have to give it a minute or two. It ain't the end of the world to get back into this. So now we have to check to see if we're running. So I have a script that I have shared. I have a cheat sheet with a whole bunch of this stuff on it. Again, I can try to remember to paste all this in the description for y'all, but it's basically systemctl, status, readsb, and vector, which is going to tell you what the status is of both of those. And as you can see, I am now running the readsb service that's up here, and I am running the vector service. So I'm up and running. So what's next? So Control C gets me back to a prompt. I like to make my screen clear. And the next step is going to be we have to load where is our device at. So we got a command for set location. And it's going to be readsb-set-location space. And then we have to put our GPS. And this has to match what is on the dashboard of your antennas for this antenna, this station for Wingbits. So I wrote it down. So 28.34388, the middle of the Gulf, the Shark headquarters or something. And no commas or nothing, but -90. Remember that negative if you need it. 32672. And I'm hitting that. Boom. Now we can do some more steps, but just to take it step by step, I want to go and check my TAR 1090 at this point to make sure that it is in the right spot of where I have this station. And here I am. So all I did was I went to the local address 10.10. whatever with a backspace with TAR 1090, hit enter, and here it is. So I am in the right spot. I'm not across the world or anything like that. I don't have an antenna hooked up to this or anything like that. I have strictly the SDR in it. So look, no antenna, no feed line. Here I am capturing, this must be a plane flying right over my office right now. So I do have an old antenna for something else that I leave on top of, if you've ever seen my previous videos that I do, since I am installing so many of these. One of the little, I'll call them paperboard, PCB boards, cheap little $9.99 1090 BS, whatever, ADS-B antennas from Amazon, strictly for testing. They are not worth a crud. These things do not transmit. So if you don't have a feed line and antenna plugged into this right here, it is not the end of the world. It's not transmitting. You're not going to damage it. So that's just one thing I want to say. But now we know that this is working good. So what's our next step? I'm going to look at my trusty cheat sheet right here. And, you know, I have a couple of different things on here in case I need them, just so I can remember and I don't have to Google it. So there's always a gain that's usually set here. So just for giggles, I'm going to right click this and I want to go over here and see what gain this is even set at. This is at -10. I do not want -10. I'm going to tell you all right now, 99% of the setups that people who are watching this, if you're using a green or blue SDR that already has the amplifier and filter built into it, you do not want -10. Now, I have one station that has 400 feet of 1.5-inch feed line and still needs -10 sometimes. I can balance it out sometimes with a 49.6, but without getting too in the weeds, and the majority of the times, you know, you get away with a 49.6. I have some stations with a 48 or even a 44.5. So how do we change that? Well, that's simple. So I have this little script right here for adjusting gain, but I'm adjust this one to say 49.6. All right. So I'm going back to my station and I'm going to right click and put my little scripter there, and I'm putting 49.6, and I'm starting off with that. All right, so I stuck my little test antenna up on the screen, up on this device here, getting 61 aircraft, 323 messages. Not that bad for that little piece of crud antenna that I have up there. So hey, I know the device is working. I know my location's in the right spot. Now, if I go back to my Wingbits dashboard and I refresh this screen should tell me that I am now online. And eventually this will change to online or something like that. But hey, I know I'm online. That means they're getting the information that they need to get. So it actually says, you can't see it on here because of OBS capturing, but it says, let me see if I can change that. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. So when I hover over this now, you see where it says last message received at 5:44 p.m., which was less than a minute ago. So I know that they're now getting that information. So eventually what's going to happen is on my dashboard, say tomorrow, I should start seeing tall glossy vulture show up right here and also have some wings assigned to it. When I go also on the dashboard, we'll have my map. So one of the next things you want to do as far as the setup is concerned is go right here to your settings tab, hit settings. You're going to go to phone numbers not being used right now. But when you go to wallet, you want to add a wallet. I have a complete video on this. I don't want to make this one too long, but I use Phantom for this. I use Exodus for majority of my crypto and stuff, but for this, with Solana stuff, I like Phantom. So I'm putting that information in here. You can also pick which antenna you want. You can, if you have a host and you want to pay that host, you know, if Jim is allowing you to put this at his house and you want to pay Jim 20%, you can add a wallet and Jim gets 20%. Again, I have a full video on that. I don't want to go into full detail. So eventually what happens is you get a couple of stations and you will start being able to see what you can capture. Yesterday's coverage alone, this is what I captured, and I can also go around and see, you know, what rank I have of this. The darker the blue, the better for you. So that's why, you know, I'm currently I'm looking at the national map, trying to see where they got some spaces at, and maybe where there's no stations at all anywhere close. Trying to get it, see if I can talk to somebody I might know. And $1 Million Man, when I used to watch wrestling as a kid, I always said, you know, everybody's got a price. Everybody put a funky looking antenna in their house for the right price. Just, well, not how much I want to pay for it. But eventually you'll fill this in like this. You'll start seeing how much wings you can get in 7 days, 30 days, and different things like that. You know, as you can see, I got various different types of setups that, even though some setups are good, some don't get a lot of, you know, depending on what hexes and how many people are hitting those hexes and splitting it. And some of them do pretty good. So that's some things you need to look forward to. So let's go back to our setup. So one of the next things I want to look for is I want to come up here and I want to put, again, my local IP, but instead of tar 1090, I'm putting graphs 1090. And again, I just started this station, so it's not going to have a lot, but I can start seeing my message rate. I can start seeing how many tracks I've seen, how many aircraft I've seen, different things like that. It also tells me, as you can see, where my gain used to be and what my current gain is now. My weakest is, you know, noise and everything like that. Also what my strong message percentage is. 2.5% is a decent percent. I would suggest to everybody, if you're going to be serious about this project, take the time to go find Axie's video. Axie is one of the guys with Wingbits in the YouTube, I think it's the YouTube section, the video section, YouTube section of the Wingbits Discord. He has a video explaining all this, how to optimize your station for the best results possible. I would take the time. I don't think it's super duper long. It ain't like one of Grumpy's videos that takes an hour and a half to get through it. It's not that long, but it's very informative to explain what all these different graphs are. And even tells you, these graphs over here, ignore them and stuff like that. I'm old fashioned. People tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. That's fine. I can live with that. I'm telling y'all to do it this way so I can tell you the proper way. Now I can tell you my way. I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to go back to my trusty cheat sheet that I have, and I run this script. Now, the problem with this script is an average of, you know, a long time. So if your station has been running for a long time, this is like a long-term average, and you might not want that. That's why those graphs with the times are a little bit better, and that's why some people say they don't like this. Me, I like this just because it's straight and to the point that when I run this, it's going to tell me I have 4.8 strong messages, negative 10.4, negative 28.3 noise, which is not that bad. If this strong message determination, especially after 2 or 3 hours, especially all day tomorrow, when I have a lot of planes, I don't really want this over 5%. Now, some people can go full balls out to a 55 max gain or a negative 10 max gain, which is the same thing, and never get over 5. I have a station like that now that is actually running one of these SDRs, which is no amplification, or I have a station that might have a green or blue amplified SDR and has a helium antenna because I couldn't afford all these stations to have new antennas. So some stations are still using helium antennas. Hey, I am a do as I say, not as I do type of person. I'm telling y'all, I have videos in the past that have proven it. If y'all can go, I have a complete channel strictly for Wingbits. Y'all can go look at them. And I've been doing antenna testing since the previous project with another project I refuse to name any longer. And I have tested a bunch of videos out. For those who are new, and I probably should put this in the beginning of the video, do not get the radar box antenna that has the 32-foot line on it that can't be removed. The line is too thin, it's too much loss, and if you ever nick or anything happens to that line, the whole antenna is ruined, and the antenna is a poor performer. Some people get it because it's the package and they save a couple of dollars because it has the green SDR with it, with the antenna. I understand that. I'm sorry to break y'all's hearts. But if you don't care and you just want to get on the air, you do you. But I will use a helium antenna before I use that antenna. But the gray antennas that I tell people about, I'm getting halfway decent results. This is one of my stations using the gray 26-inch antenna. That is fairly inexpensive. Back in helium, we used to pay $150 for the quality antennas that made a difference. With this project, you don't need that. This is a $44.99 antenna from Amazon. You don't need any high gain with this project. This is not helium. Wipe that stuff out your head. Kind of like I joke around, if y'all watch Harry Potter, take your wand and take those memories of helium and flush them out, because you want the 5.5. These lines right here that you're seeing here are over 500 miles. Now, They're not consistent. I'm not gonna sit and try to fool you. It's not consistent. But this right here is also 200 miles. And as you can see, I am consistently getting over 250 miles with this setup. Now, this is a higher setup, but it's also got 1.5 inches of feed line and loss, and I'm still getting this. I am getting close to the same results, with some of my stations that are only 15 and 20 feet above the ground. By keeping your gain where it needs to be, not too high, because you're going to start muddying up those messages and everything like that, not too low. You know, I got some people saying that they're running 22, gain. I don't know how that's possible. Again, y'all do you. If it works for you, so be it. All my stations are running between a 44.5 to 49.6, every single one, other than the ones that have a Helium antenna. When you go from a Helium, look, if you want to get started, on the cheap side and just basically only get this, if you're going to use your Helium feed line, you are going to need some type of barrel converter because the pin's in it. Helium takes a RP SMA on its devices. These SDRs take a SMA. Make sure you know that, because people will set this whole thing up and they will sit here and say, for some reason, I'm only getting 2 or 3. Y'all saw what I got. I got one plane with no feed line attached at all. That's what they're going to get, because basically you don't have feed line attached when there's no, can't make no jokes because I don't get my YouTube shut down. But one side has to have a pin. And if you look at that feed line from Helium, it does not have a pin. This one doesn't have a pin. So you're going to need a little converter if you happen to use that. But what I was getting at is, when you go from a Helium antenna to a 1090 antenna like the one I suggest, majority of the time, you're going to see a 45, 60, 70% increase in airplanes. I've gone from 100 to 160, 170 aircraft going from a Helium antenna. And again, I've tried the 3s, the 5s, the 7s, and the 9 dBi Helium antennas, and 8.5 Lairds, because that was my king of kings for Helium. Those antennas do make a difference. Another thing about this project, and I receive a lot of flack for it, and I don't care if y'all know my channel, I don't care. Do not put these antennas inside. You're trying to see planes that are transmitting probably milliwatts of signal, 40,000 miles in the air, 40,000 feet in the air. When you look at it, you look at the altitude right here. I can't use that one. Hold on. 46,000 feet in the air. These antennas have to be outside. Now, before anybody wants to argue with me and find out why they call me grumpy, yes, you can put an antenna in the attic, especially if you don't have a foil backing. Yes, you can put it inside the house. Preferably, don't put it behind a window, because the window has UV blocking. Against the wall will actually work better. That's how much it does not make sense to put this stuff inside. What I have suggested to people, and it's worked, and I received a lot of flack on my last video when I spoke about this, but y'all can eat my shorts, as Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson would say, is they have suction cups that you can use in, like, to hold mops up and stuff. I have 2 different people now using suction cups to put the antenna right outside the window. They reached around, stuck it on the outside, and they got double the planes they were getting from inside. Now, they're still not getting 168 like I'm doing right now at 6 p.m. at night, but they were getting 20 on the inside, and now they're getting 40 or 50 on the outside. My sister has a very strict HOA. You can get black antennas on Amazon. I have a link in my description, because she has black gutters, and I zip tied the antenna to the black gutter. It's been there for a year, and they don't know about it. And they have a very, very strict no HOA policy. Don't come to me with this stupid federal law. I've been a ham long enough. If you think the federal law covers ADS-B antennas, go do some deeper research. It doesn't cover it. It covers off the air stuff, over the air type stuff, and some internet type things. It does not cover this project. Do some deep diving. There's been articles on it. Again, and even if you do think, and you're telling people, screw your HOA, You're not the one that's going to have to pay their legal fees to fight it to even possibly win. They're going to do it. So watch how certain people want to sit here and argue in these forums about that. I know this is when I get way off, but this is just something for the knowledge for these new people to understand. These antennas really need to be outside. They really need to at least be above the roof line. You know what works great? Fence top rail. Fence top rail. These antennas, if you're using the ADS-B ones I'm talking about, I have one that's on top of a building in Baton Rouge that went through Hurricane Ida. Now, we had 100-mile-an-hour winds here, so I bet they saw 60-mile-an-hour winds in Hurricane Ida. And this is still there. Did not bend or anything. I use these on several setups. Fence top rail. You just need enough to be able to get that top of that antenna above that roof line. So there's your hint. All right, so here comes this segment of the video. I'm gonna warn y'all now. This is the advanced 2.0 kind of stuff. So if you're here just for the basic setups and this is already kind of over your head, you might want to stop and kind of, you know, play around with your device, because now we're going to go into a couple other things that's unofficial that, you know, might not be promoted by other people. This, again, is stuff that I do. It's not promoted by other people. Some people say it ain't necessary. Some people say it's wrong. I don't care. I'm doing what I want to do. This is my device, not y'all's. So I'm going to clear this out to start with. I'm going back to my cheat sheet. On my cheat sheet, I run cron jobs. Why do I run cron jobs? Because there have been times when my device locks up and I can't get to it. And I have to go drive an hour and a half, or bother a host on, hey, can you please go, even though I promised them and this would not be no trouble to them. Oh, can you please go unplug it? Can you please go reset this? And I don't want to bother with that. So cron tab E makes what's called a cron job. What does a cron job do? You can set it to do different things. So I'm using Nano. And the first line has something from Wingbits to grab the updates. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to push down to make sure that we don't bother their update. All right. And what I do is I run a cron job of, you know, there's different times and lengths that you can do it. And what I do is I run this cron job here. So basically at 4 a.m. in the morning, every 2 days, which is basically every other day or every 2 days, I'll come right here, paste it. So even though it says shutdown, -R is going to restart. So to make a long story short is every 2 days, I'm rebooting my device. Knock on wood, I have not had any lockups since I started doing this. I had lockups before that I had to go and get somebody to power cycle, or I had to go drive somewhere or go wherever I have the device at. I have not had any since I started doing this. Now, the issue is, you see all these little fancy little range signals and stuff like that. So this is planes that it's caught that, you know, so you can kind of start judging, you know, when this plane comes way out here, then the blue line's going to start coming out here. So you kind of know where the range is. This will clear after a reboot. So that's just one of the things. Now, you want to extend the cron job further, y'all can figure out how to do that. There's websites for that. But again, that's what I do. So every 2 days, I'm rebooting, and it keeps the problems away. So I'm pressing X to get out of that. Yes, I want to save it, and I'm hitting enter. All right. What's our next thing? We're going to do some Tailscale now. You know, I have a full video on Tailscale. I'll try to link it here. I don't want to go into full details and making a whole new account for this, so nobody has to see all my other stations. But there's a script for Tailscale. I'm running that script for Tailscale, and it's going to go through its update and do everything it has to do. And now it's finished. So to get Tailscale started, you're going to type just what it says right here. Tailscale space up. Now you have to copy this right here. Again, you have to have Tailscale already, you know, an account, which is a free account, but you already have to have a, you know, an admin dashboard set up for this, which I do. Again, I have a full video that I can link to show you how to do it, but just to show you, I'm doing it on every station. And so I have this copied now, and now I'm going back to Chrome, and on my new Chrome tab, I am pasting that address in there. and hitting enter, it comes up, it asks for my sign in. Yes, this is my sign in. I'm hitting sign in, and that's it. Now this will be added to my admin dashboard. It's going to have this device name. You can change it to whatever location you want. So you know, Tailscale is freaking phenomenal. I put it on every device, every single device. And now when I give this to my buddy, all he has to do is plug this in at his house, and I don't have to worry about opening up any ports on any routers, port forwarding, or anything like that. Even if you want to put Wi-Fi on his device, they have these little cheap little Wi-Fi dongles. Some Pis already have Wi-Fi, but it's a little potato and different things. But you can add this little device on here. There's a driver you have to add, but this is a 2.4 dongle. You plug this in there. So when I send this now to my friend's house, I got one going to Corpus Christi soon. He's gonna, first thing to do is plug it into his router to get internet to it. I'm Tailscaling into it. He ain't got to bother with it. He don't have to bother with anything. He don't have to worry about port forwards. I'll be able to get into it. Most he has to do is tell me what Wi-Fi I need to use. I can go into it, configure the Wi-Fi, then he can unplug it from his device, install it where he wants to install it at, and it's done. Tailscale is phenomenal. Check that video out. So that was an up-to-date kind of crash course on Wingbits. It has simplified a lot if you've watched my previous videos. You know, I have, for those who know Fluffy from the previous projects, I had an AMA with him. He was in Helium with us. He was in the other project we don't name, but he has a La Potato image also that strictly runs. He's working on one now that will strictly run. I don't know if it's Ubuntu or one of them like that with Wingbits. It's already going to have all this on there already, where all you have to do is go in there and enter your name of your device and set the location and be done with it. But another thing is, of course, I'm going to plug bitharveststudio. If y'all are not familiar with them, go look at their Discord, go look at their website, bitharvest.studio. And bitharvest also does all this stuff also, where you just burn their firmware onto a SD card, stick it in there, and now you have a fancy dashboard that you don't have to worry about running all these scripts. You can add your Tailscale ID into it also if you want to get Tailscale. And they have two different versions. They have a free version that has like Wingbits and Helium for dual mining, and maybe one or two data sharing type projects or something like that for a passive income. And then they have for another $16 or $17 a year. That's right, a year. They have an additional 7 or 8 projects. They're up to like 11 projects right now. They're working on also a crypto type miner for their bitharveststudio token, which I hold a good amount of. So check those guys out. Check what they're doing in their Discord. I have plenty of videos also showing that. So for the devices like I just showed you that have a Helium hat still on it that works, even if you right now have a Helium hat sitting at your house, a Helium device sitting at your house or at a friend's house that's running, you can take it offline for 20, 30 minutes, add this to it. You can add Wingbits to it. I know there's also, bitharvest to it, which will then add Wingbits. And then you can go back to your Helium mining also. I know Crankk has a version. I'm not familiar with that too much, but just to be fair, they do have that also, where you can dual mine and run, from what I'm told, it's free, but you can run their version. But I think all their version does is just strictly the Helium and the Wingbit stuff. BitHarvest is doing 11 and soon to be 12 projects that this one device can do, if that's up your boat. Or again, if you just want to keep it simple, so there's times I like the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, and I like to keep my stuff simple. I've been redoing plans for work and different stuff like that, simple. And if you want to be simple, this video right here I just did shows you. You just worry about those two things. You put the OS on it, you put Wingbits on it, and you're done. The new script, there's an auto update. You shouldn't have to auto update it anymore. And then now you just let the passive income rolling in. This project's going to be very big. I feel it. These guys have been, doing AMAs. You can see them in the Discord. You know that that's really them. There's no fake names or anything like that. And I think this project's going to be big. So I appreciate everybody who's watched it. And so what I'll do is, and no complaints, but I have like 4 or 5 of these, but I'll give away one of these black RTL SDRs if anybody wants one to play around with it. So therefore, if you have this in a helium antenna, all you need is the little bracket. If you have the cable still, all you need is a little adapter, and you can get started until you want to try to upgrade this. So I'll tell you what, I'll give away 2 of these. My email is in the description below. The only thing I'm gonna tell y'all is it's a pain in the butt for me to get to the post office. So I will email you back if you win. And then once I have the 2 winners, I'll put in the description below that, hey, 2 winners have been picked. Please, nobody else send me anything. But I will mail you out. You have to be within the United States. It's only going to be for the black SDR. So know that the results of this ain't going to be as good as you were seeing earlier on my other station, because this does not have the amp in it. This doesn't have it. This doesn't have the filter in it. Now, what you can go do is go buy the LNA for, I think it's 20, 30 bucks on Amazon, and you can go buy a soft filter or a cavity filter, and which will be almost the same price as this, and then you're online with this. And then all you gotta do is worry about swapping on antennas or feedline or something like that. So I'll give away 2 of these, and again, email me. And when those 2 are gone, I will put a message. But for the people who stayed here this long, and as a congratulations for me hitting 12,000 subscribers, to show my appreciation, I appreciate it. Please also, I'm trying to bump up my X. You know, that's right here. Green screen's killing me. Yeah, that way. So Grumpy Dad 56 on Twitter. Also, my other YouTube page, Grumpy Dad Outdoors, there's a link to it there. Please, please, please go and subscribe to it. I haven't really been hitting it that much because we were in between fishing and hunting and stuff like that. I'm trying to hit that again also. I'm making videos for that also. Please go give it a look. Subscribe for me, please. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm trying to do some videos with my son. We got some fishing trips coming up. Just did some work at the hunting camp and stuff like that. So please like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We have a lot of stuff coming up with this bull market, a lot of other projects that I'm getting into that just waiting on devices to come in. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on with passive income and getting ready for this bull market. So appreciate everybody, and I'll see y'all on the next video.